Today we're going to finally powder coat this brush guard for the M37 that we built a few months back. This was in pieces. It didn't even have a center grill section. I actually made these, if you watch one of the previous videos. And it turned out really good. But we did have a lot of pitting in this metal. So what we're going to do is do a few coats of powder on there and see if that takes care of our problem. And we've got our lovely assistant helping film today. So should make my job just a little easier. We also have a 100 subscriber special coming up. We finally made it to 100. Wow. I never thought we'd even make it to 10. Apparently some of you guys like what we're doing here. So I really appreciate that, and we're going to keep after it. I'm trying to keep things interesting and give you guys lots of variety. I've been doing a lot of work on some other things as well, like lots of wheels. So I've got the WC on its new shoes and new wheels. I'm finishing up the last one now for the spare. Then we're going to do the motor. You guys saw me paint the head for that probably 2 years ago, and I've got to fix a few things on there. One of the cam bearings is slightly misaligned. I'm going to take it out and fix that. So that'll be one of the next upcoming projects. But for right now, we're back onto the M37. I've also got the gas tank primed for this, so I'll show you that real quick. Now, this doesn't look fantastic. You'll notice there's a little bit of flaking and stuff on it. The reason for that, and the reason for me not stripping this all down to bare metal is because it was galvanized. And the tank is in perfect shape, so I don't want to sand off the galvanizing and then just rely on this primer. And you're never going to see it anyway. So I'm just going to paint this airforce blue and put it back in place.
All right, here we go. That's putting out a lot of powder.
That is a lot.
Trying to turn that pressure down a little. But at least it's sticking. Sometimes it doesn't stick. If it doesn't stick, put it in the oven for a minute. And then make sure your contact areas are clean, because otherwise your electricity won't go through and you have problems. And whatever you do, make sure you bump the part as much as possible.
Yeah, totally bump it.
Ow.
So, my respirator just slapped my lip off. Geez, I've been to the dentist this week. I had a truck almost knock my teeth out. Now the respirator slaps me in the face. So, along your wire areas, it's kind of hard to get it to flow in there. So you need to concentrate on those areas a little bit. You can get it up underneath there. So, something with these Harbor Freight guns I've noticed too is these aren't the greatest guns. I don't have a fluidizer yet. I plan on upgrading this gun, but I don't do enough powder coating yet to justify that. So these work fine. I've had really good results with it. You just got to be a little bit patient. I've got double line dryers as well to make sure that we don't have any moisture getting in that powder. So I'm going to get back up in here. I'm going to walk around, make sure we didn't miss anything. And keep in mind, we are doing multiple coats here, so this isn't going to be a one and done thing. So if you did miss somewhere, then go back over it. And when it's warm, the powder will actually start to melt on the part and it'll stick better, and then you can put it back in the oven. So I use prismatic powders, and that's all I use. Do not, I repeat, do not use Harbor Freight powders. They are garbage and you will regret it. Prismatic is absolutely fantastic. They flow out, they even out really well, and their customer service is great. So I've got a bunch of powders that I've shot. None of the prismatic powders have ever failed on me. Harbor Freight powders have been 100% failure rate, and they don't level, and they look like garbage. So, that being said, we're going to hit this on the bottom. Stomp on that pad right there. No, stay standing on it. Now you might think, oh my gosh, that's tons of powder. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. We're just trying to get coverage. So I did notice a little boo-boo here. If my cameraman will come over here, I'll show it to you. So right inside this hole here, we've got a little bit of filler. So that's going to be something that might make it difficult to get a bolt in. But what I'll probably do is leave the powder on there, knock it off with a chisel, and then put a little bit of paint in there. That's actually what they recommend you do where your wires are touching and stuff. So, because you're never going to get the powder all the way around this. So they recommend that you put touch-up paint in there in a unseen area. So that may be what we do. Just going to look and then make sure you get underneath your part too, because that's really easy to miss. Now all my light in here is top light. I've removed my side lights for reasons of storing junk. So it looks like we're pretty good. I'm going to hit it here again. Another thing on these Harbor Freight guns I've noticed is you'll want to load up this canister to the top with your powder. Don't do that. Load up to about right here. So if you put too much powder in here, it just blows tons of powder everywhere. It makes a big mess. It actually knocks the other powder off, so don't do that. So, and then when you're done shooting, what you want to do is take this to an area where you can get contact. And let's see if it'll do it here. Okay, I hope you guys could see that, and do it several times. See how that does that? 3, 4, 5. If you don't do that, you're gonna get electrocuted. I've done it, and man, it hurts. It's like getting hit with a taser. So don't do that. Now, the next step, we're gonna disconnect this gun so we don't end up spraying powder accidentally. We're all discharged. Don't handle that without discharging it, because like I say, you're gonna get nailed. Now the tricky bit is lifting this off of these hooks. This is a fine balancing act, and when you're pulling off your ground, be careful not to disturb your powder. It's a pain in the butt because this clamp is bent. I need to replace this. So I'm gonna go open the oven. Okay, now hopefully I didn't goof up here. Woo, that was tricky. I'm gonna have to bend those clamps or those hooks a little. Follow me now, cameraman. Okay, edit this out. Go back. Go back. Film this. Walk with me and keep this in frame the whole time. Go back. Okay, from right here. Can you see this? All right. Now, film over here while I'm putting this in. So, we got to be really careful. You can see we've already got one little boo-boo. Not a big deal. We'll fix it. Do not let your part touch in the oven. And then I'm wiping this powder off because I don't want it to fall on there. And then it's tempting to touch this up with a gun in the oven. Don't ever do that because that stuff's flammable. Anything that's a fine powder, like sugar, flour, coal, powder coat powder, is flammable. It hits that element in here and you're gonna have, you know, your own episode of backdraft here. So I'm gonna watch this as I close because it's kind of close to the door. All right, now I actually think I want to try and keep that door open just a little bit. What do we got here? This will stop that door from shutting all the way. Okay, that's perfect. So we're going to give that 12 minutes. To cook. But what we need to do first is wait till that powder turns into a liquid. It'll be really obvious because it gets really glossy. So I will bring you back when that has flashed over into a liquid. And then, of course, we're going to cook it 12 minutes after that and we'll pull it out of the oven. And you see how it turns out. We're going to have to put it back up on the hooks, which is very tricky when it's hot like that. But I want to do at least one more coat. We'll see how this coat looks. But this is going on a military vehicle, so I want to make sure that it's protected well because I'm actually going to use the thing off-road and like it's meant to be used. Other than I'm not going to submerge it in water, but still, you get the idea. GoPro, stop recording. Okay. Hopefully you can see in here. I'm not going to stick my hand too far in there because, you know, that's 450 degrees. Looks like our camera just bumped up the ISO for us. That's good. So, on we go, 12 minutes. And keep in mind that little boo-boo on the bottom. I don't know if you can see it there. But that's still protected. You know, that little scratch, it's still protected, so not a big deal. And that's on the bottom anyway, if you never see it. All right, 12 minutes, and we're gonna come back and hit that again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set my timer. So easy to forget what you're doing here, and you end up going, oh shit, you know. So it's too easy to forget what you're doing here, and then you go, oh, I had something in the oven. How long was that in there? And you'll ruin your powder, have to sandblast it all off. Oh my goodness, it's time. All right, cameraman.
I'm not a man.
Okay, camera, non-binary person. Okay, guys, this looks like it flashed over, but look here, this is a little weird. There's a little bit of
speckled
stuff on there, so hopefully that didn't do it all over. Be very careful and very fast. All right, cameraman, be ready to run. Look out, look out, look out, look out, look out. Oh, this is hot, 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 hot.
Hot, 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 hot.
It's not just hot, it's hot, hot.
Hot, 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 hot.
Oh, man, that's hot.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Hurry, Daddy, it's smoking.
All right, that turned out pretty good though. Don't see that problem anywhere else yet. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a second coat when it cools off just a touch. I realize it's kind of dark on camera. Looks like we've got a little mark of Zorro on that right there.
It's
I'm not sure
speckled,
why, but
which is
yeah, it's speckled on the bottom just a little bit, but
speckled right here.
yeah, it's not a big deal. We'll fill that in with some more powder. There could have been something on the surface. I forgot to rinse this with brake cleaner first. So, dumb on me, but that's alright. So, I'm going to let this cool off for just a minute. We'll hit it with another coat of powder and see what we're going to do about our hole that I forgot to clean. I thought I got all of those, but apparently I didn't. The metal filler I used on this was JB Weld Quick Steel. So apparently it will take powder coat just fine. And then what I've been using on other projects is a filler called USC All Metal.
and it's much easier to sand. This stuff is almost impossible to sand, so don't use that unless you have to. But it will take powder coat. That's helpful, huh? Okay. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Trying to make this so it's kind of, you know, matte finish, but it's going to melt it a little bit.
The powder, if you look at this closely, I don't know if you can tell or not, look on these bars here. The powder is kind of a speckly matte finish. That's what you want.
Also right here.
And that means that that powder is, you know, not fully set up. It's not cooked all the way, but it's also sticking to it, so that's a good thing. So I'm going to hand the camera back over to the cameraman here. Okay, well, if I can manage not to trip over the obstacles, then we'll put this back in the oven here. Try not to knock the powder off these hooks. I went ahead and bent these hooks again, so hopefully that works a little better. Nope. Guess we won't do that. Nope. Nope. Guess we won't do that. Nope. 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 Yep.
Just nope everything.
Okay, well, it touched that a little bit, but didn't hurt it. Thank Buddha. So, once again, I think this oven rack is upside down, but it gives me a little bit more room to screw things up, so. Alrighty. Now this, I'm just going to cook it for a straight 12 minutes, because it's already flashed over. So, on goes the timer, and I think we're just going to do 2 coats on there. That second coat turned out beautiful, and it fixed all of the imperfections in the surface. I was worried about some of those swirl marks and the grinder marks on there, but it filled those in beautifully. So, we don't really have to worry too much about that. 12 minutes on the clock. Bring you back when I'm taking it out. Alright, the grand reveal. Ooh. Looks pretty good. Still get a little bit of bubbly here, but I don't think that's going to affect it. So I'm not going to worry about that. That goes against the fender anyway. Now when you take these out, be real careful because this powder coat is soft and you will damage it. So let's just get this in the light before it burns me.
It's very,
okay, it's burning me now.
Oh no!
Oh no!
It's burning!
Oh, that is freaking
that's smoking, that's smoking.
Smoking hands, ow!
Smoking
Okay, now,
hands.
the way I've done this, you got to be real careful. You don't want that thing to swing and bump into stuff, but I'm going to go ahead and leave the powder coating equipment set up tonight, just in case I come out here in the morning and this is cooled off and I find something. If you're going to do another coat, you can just go ahead and put this in the oven and warm it up a little bit, and the powder should stick to it.
Nice and
But it looks really good, so I think it's been sufficiently smurfed.
smurfed.
And the floor too.
Yeah, the floors.
So I will demonstrate when I get out of jail.
Jail.
I will demonstrate where this goes on the truck tomorrow. I already have one kind of mounted on there. I still have to do the grill pieces for this too. And like I said, I want to put in the gas tank, whatever that thing's called, and be able to actually rebuild the fuel pump on there and start the thing up and run it off its own gas tank. Beyond that, the only thing that truck needs is wiring and to have the brakes finished, and it could be drivable. and then of course bolt down the body. But I've already done quite a lot of body work on there. The biggest problems on that truck body wise are the tailgate and I think the Arctic top and a few other things, but I've switched most of the body on it, so it's in pretty good shape. So I'll give you an overview of this and try and get you a close-up so you can see what all we've done here. It turned out pretty fantastic.
It's absolutely fantastic.
I'm pretty happy with how that turned out, especially considering how many scratches I could see in this. Alright, I'll show you some more on this tomorrow when it's daylight. Yeah, it's very dark outside right now.
Yeah!
So stay tuned for the next scene where you actually get to see where this mounts on the truck. And I'm not going to handle it while it's 400 degrees. Sorry, not doing it. I already Men in Blacked my fingerprints off on a previous episode, so figured we shouldn't do that again. Okay, well as promised, I'm going to show you where the piece that I just powder coated goes. This is the one I did before. The other one's in the shop. I'm going to do one more coat. The finish wasn't quite what I wanted when I looked at it in the morning, but this is where she goes. And you can see that this is protecting the headlight and the blackout light. And this one has been out in the weather for quite some time, and it's held up really well. So dirt just wipes right off of it, and the sun hasn't been affecting it too much. So I do try and keep this truck covered. I've got it uncovered right now so that I can show you this and show you my gigantic scrap pile mess here. But yeah, it'll go on the other side, so I'll walk over here and show you. So this is the side we needed to do. We'll be doing the blackout lights the same, and then the headlights I'm going to paint body colors, so it won't all match, but they'll look like accessories. But that's just how I'm going to do it. So I wasn't trying to do this perfectly back to what it was. It's got a Plymouth motor in it, for crying out loud. Well, as always, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back at you with another one. Probably going to be doing another video today on a different project, and we'll be back at you with a 100 subscriber special real soon as I can get some parts.